Welcome, everybody. It's your girl Sophia, aka Sophie, back on Sophia's Football Talk, and we have a special guest for today's match preview. This is Barcelona fan from the States, John, the undefeated mustache John. Welcome, John. How are you today?
Hey, Sophia, I'm doing well. Shout out to everybody out there watching and listening. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time off to be here for this live match preview for the second leg of the Europa League game. John, what was your thoughts about the first leg, if I may ask?
Um, they've changed, I'll say, day to day. I remember watching live feeling like Barcelona was really overwhelmed at times during that match, and I think that just objectively, you could say that that is true. Um, and I was really worried about this second leg going into it, particularly because I know Rashford is on fire right now. But
Yes.
when I went back and I watched some of the highlights, I looked back at some of the stats. Barcelona weren't as out of it as I maybe thought. We weren't as
Okay.
lucky as maybe I thought. If
Hmm.
things go a little bit differently, this
Yep.
could have been 2-1 to Barcelona. So
Interesting.
I'm not terribly unhappy with the results, I'll say. What about you?
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I almost feel like we could have, in a way, won the game. I mean, I was, there's been people saying like, yeah, Barcelona gonna be slapping you guys up and yada yada yada. I've been like, nah, I think we're gonna do something. And I'm happy with the result overall. Now you just kind of have to get the job done at, of course, Old Trafford, which we will hopefully be doing tomorrow. But you know, like you're saying, there were moments of the game where I just felt like kind of both teams were in it. In a way, high intensity game, extremely entertaining game. I was
Mm.
watching, the even though this was in the Europa League game, I was watching, the Champions League game between, PSG and Bayern Munich. Yes, the day before and whatnot, AC Milan and Spurs. Hella boring, and this
Right,
just kind of
right.
felt like right, and this kind of felt
Yeah.
like, whoa, is this actually a Champions League game? No, but
Yeah,
it's
I
really
remember
good game.
feeling the same thing, and a lot of folks over on my channel were kind of saying the same that this was really the marquee matchup of the week, at least. I know PSG Bayern coulda, woulda, shoulda. That should have been maybe a more entertaining match for us, but yeah, this one definitely smelled of a Champions League fixture, and I think there's a lot of parallels between the two clubs right now in terms
Hmm.
of revamping, getting back to the status that is, that world class elite type level.
Yep. That's a very good point. Big up, people. I have linked the undefeated mustache John. First and foremost, is I love the name. It's a
Thanks.
very cool channel name. So I've linked his channel down below in the description box and also in the title. So make sure that you guys do subscribe and of course give this video a big thumbs up and do indeed subscribe to the channel. Let's just greet the viewers here. Harry says hello. I'm a Barcelona fan as well. Looking forward to the stream. Hey, big up to you, Harry. Yassine, regular viewer here, a Liverpool fan that got slapped up by your rival, Real Madrid. Sorry, Yassine, but
Yeah,
not
dude.
sorry.
Oh,
Hey, big up to you, Yassine. Says big up Sophia and John. Hey, Jan LFC, also a Liverpool fan says Barca to win 2-1. Lewandowski. Okay, that's interesting. I okay. Hey, also says
what
Forza
did you
Barca.
what did you
What?
think of his performance in the first leg? Because that was
Oh,
the first time Lewandowski has gone up against United apparently, and I don't know how he missed Manchester United
what?
all of his career, but that was the first time that he ever played Manchester United.
Wait, I never. Wait, is it really? Wait,
Yeah.
have we not? Oh my God! Wow, I didn't even realize that. But I felt like he was. I don't know. I wasn't really threatened that much. Completely. He had some chances and whatnot, but I did feel like our defense, in certain parts did look pretty decent. I mean, Luke Shaw as Shawdish, Roberto Carlos sometimes, as the left back, and once he's the
Roberto Carlos, you're
center back, he'd
hilarious.
be Shawdish. That's what I'd be calling him. So
Yeah.
big up to you,
How
Revy.
are you feeling about Shaw at left center back right now? Kind of filling in there.
I feel I've been extremely, surprised in the best way actually of how good he's been. I really it's just Ten I kind of saw, okay, you know what? Maybe you can do something here.
Mhm. Mhm.
That out. But he just the thing with Shaw is, he maybe you wouldn't assume that it's a guy that has pace, but he does have pace. It does. Feel like he just seems so much calm in a way, especially alongside Rafael Varane, of course. With the Champions League pedigree, the World Cup pedigree, and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been very happy with Luke Shaw's performance when it comes to him as the center back. But I believe for tomorrow, most likely he'll probably play as the left back, as Lisandro Martinez will be back from suspension.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, I'm going to be, expecting to see Lisandro Martinez as the left center back, and then of course Rafael Varane next to him. But what about you? What are you thinking in terms of Well, what I know is that Gavi, I believe, he's suspended for this game. Very unfortunate, of course. And then Pedri, who is indeed injured. So I don't know. Do you feel confident? Like, what is your initial thoughts right now?
Uh, not super confident, not super confident.
Mm,
Because
fair.
going into it, no Dembele, no Gavi, as you mentioned, no Pedri, as you
Oh,
mentioned.
yeah.
Sergi Busquets is also coming back from injury. He was on the
Oh,
bench, but an unused sub over the weekend. So I don't know if he's
interesting.
even match fit.
Yeah.
So we might be coming out with a bit of a patchwork team, but
Hmm.
there's enough there for Xavi to play with that I think he can come up with something clever and see what happens.
Okay, that's fair. Question from you, I mean from Ravi to you. Question thoughts on Barca's positioning or marking players? Do you have thoughts about that?
So I'm assuming that's in reference to Araujo and Kunde.
Yes.
Typically, Barcelona had been lining up with Kunde at right back, Araujo as the right center back. But for this first leg, you saw
Mm,
Xavi do the switch. I think he was expecting Rashford to spend more time out on that wing. And looking back, I think we can all agree that was a mistake. It just kind of put Barca's defense off tilt a little bit. And
yep.
so if Barcelona go with a 4-3-3 formation, and I'm not sure that they will, but if they
Okay.
do and they have four in the back, I think
Yep.
we'll see Kunde at right back, Araujo at center back, like we typically see in the Liga.
Okay. Interesting. I rate is it Araujo? Araujo?
So I have gone
Araujo.
back and forth, and
Like
people will give me slack one way or another. So
I
I've
struggle.
Yeah, I've talked to my Spanish speaking associates, Buga Luis, that I do a podcast with, and he
Mm-hmm.
said it is Araujo. So it's a quick. There is emphasis on the U, but
Araujo.
it's not Araujo,
Okay,
right?
Araujo.
Or Araujo, right?
Okay.
And in America, typically, like in the past, I would have just said Araujo.
You're
That's how we
right.
would pronounce it over here, Araujo.
Yeah.
But he's got that accent over the U, so
Yeah,
it's
it's a little
Araujo.
make it a
Mhm,
little bit
mhm.
flavorish. I get it, I
Yeah,
get it.
but
But
however you
it's
say it, somebody's gonna tell you you're doing it wrong,
yeah,
so
of course. Yeah, but regardless, him, I really rate that kid. He's a very good player. Very good player.
coming up big. A lot of people are saying he's one of the top center backs, in the world right now, and I mean, it's hard to disagree with.
Do you think he can, maybe try to silence Rashford in a way, like that one we be situation? I don't know. How do you think that's going to be set up for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I honestly so I did a bit of a lineup preview earlier where I talked about the potential of going with a 3 center back formation. Xavi hasn't
Mm,
done that yet with Barcelona, but he has done that
okay.
with, what was it? Al
He play.
Sadd,
Yes,
who
yes,
he
yes,
was
yeah,
managing before
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
So you go Araujo, or excuse me, you go Kunde, Araujo, Christensen spread across the back line.
Okay.
You have Sergi Busquets just in front of them. You have Frankie de Jong and Franck Kessié in front of Busquets playing
Yeah.
centrally. You
Hmm.
go with either Jordi Alba or Balde wide left,
Okay.
Rafinha wide right. Okay, so that gives a little bit of defensive balance on the left, a little bit more attacking on the right. And then
Hmm.
here's the curveball. Your two forwards, you have Lewandowski and Ferran Torres. Because Ferran Torres over the weekend had
Okay.
maybe his best match for Barcelona, and we want him
Really?
to keep riding that train. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Because didn't you guys win? Was it 2-0? I think I didn't watch the game, but.
Yeah,
It hit
2-0
you
against
know.
Cadiz, which is
Yes.
not the biggest opponent, but
No, no,
we
but
typically struggle against them, and
mhm.
like I said, Ferran Torres has been under a lot of criticism lately,
Yep.
but even with that, he's scored his goals, he's gotten his assists, he's had some good matches, but
Yeah,
in this match, something clicked, something flipped
something
over for him.
clicked.
He
Oh.
had 10 completed dribbles throughout the match. He was torching players. It was
Oh, it
it
was
was
on
something
it.
to see. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so another question here. Question thoughts on Man United build-up play. I don't know if you're thinking maybe more so for me, Ravi, but I mean, if you have thoughts, John, do chime in. Build-up play. I mean, I feel like we've gotten, a lot more better. We're not playing, you know, exactly how Ten Hag wants to set up. Like right now, we just kind of have to make it do with what we have and whatnot. But there is, of course, certain things when it comes to the build-up play, and you're trying to play out from the back and whatnot. That is working, but of course, we know Barcelona will probably have the ball the most and whatnot. But hey, we got the 12 men with us for tomorrow's match. So I do think that there's some exciting stuff happening. Yam says Kunde and Araujo world class. Eh? Kunde? Do you think Kunde is world class?
Oh, he makes his mistakes though.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. He's already had, 3 own goals this season, I think.
Oh wow.
In total, yeah, Europa League and La Liga.
Oh
It's at
wow.
least 2, if not 3.
Oh.
Um,
Okay.
but here's the thing,
Mhm.
there's other times though where you can't get past him.
Yeah.
He's just a defensive wall. He's
Hmm.
completely reliable. I
Yeah.
think part of it is that he is being asked to play right back instead of
Yeah.
center back.
Mm,
Um, but he's been there for the better part of a year now. He's been playing right back for France as well. So at some point you got to
true.
say that's enough time you should be adapting. So
For sure.
if he can just kind of shave off some of those rough edges, then yes, he'll be right up there with Araujo.
That, hey, fair. I see that. Jan also says Fatty and Lewandowski. Are you going to keep going with this, Jan? Okay, right. Better score versus United tomorrow. I mean, we will see. We'll definitely, at the end of the show, we're going to, of course, give our predictions when it comes to the score and whatnot. This is a question for me, actually. So Harry says, what are your thoughts on Bruno as captain for United? Seeming there's been a lot of controversy as him being captain due to his action in games in the Prem against referees. I feel like
Wow.
Bruno, in a lot of ways, this is just me. I feel like he has kind of calmed down a little bit when it comes to not really rattling, the ref and whatnot, but not being too much in the ref's face. I do feel like for me, you know, he been pulling up more so when it comes to not that I'm super, very invested when it comes to stats, but he giving more assists and contributing, of course, more and more with the amount of chances that are being created. Like he does create a lot of chances for us, of course. And when it comes to him as a captain, I he think he looks very good. I feel like he definitely is, in my opinion, the best fit, one of the best fit right now. I mean, if we're gonna compare it to Maguire, who technically still is our official captain, but
Uh-huh.
Maguire isn't, playing for most of the games. So obviously Bruno will then be, as he is literally not missing any games at all or hardly. He be our number one captain, and he does a good job. So yeah. Um, Question from Ravi: thoughts on the link up play for Barca in the whole team? This you can answer this, Sean.
Yeah, there are times when Lewandowski in particular kind of gets stranded up there. There'll be stretches of play where he can't really find his way into the mix.
Yeah,
Xavi's worked on that a little bit by taking him out of the center of the pitch. You'll see over the last few weeks, if you go back and watch some of the highlights, Lewandowski's making those runs to the sidelines a lot more often.
yeah,
I don't like pulling him away from the center where he can be, a poacher in front of goal.
hmm,
But if it gets him more involved in the play, if it stretches the back line of the defense a little bit, I'm okay with that. Um, Defense to midfield, we're solid. It's really about, can we be creative? Can we keep moving off the ball in that final third? That's where Barcelona gets stale sometimes, is we get too much possession around the final third
yeah.
and not enough movement.
Yeah, I also feel like I kind of noticed that a bit, for that United game that, like you said, a lot of movements and whatnot, but it's kind of like that final third that needs to be, tweaked a bit. So I definitely see that.
Yeah.
Harry says also have a question. I'd like to hear your thoughts, John, on the midfield. Should we give Pablo Torre, I believe Toro,
Hmm.
a chance
Pablo
against
Torre, yeah.
United if Busquets isn't fit enough to play? Okay.
Yeah, so Pablo Torre is a youngster
Hmm.
that came up. He is still technically on Barca Athletic, which is our youth team, but
Okay.
he is on the bench for a majority of the senior teams
Mm.
games. Doesn't get a lot of playing time though. I don't see it happening for this one. Um, the question is how much priority is Xavi putting on this match? Because we have La Liga, we have 2 different matches against Real Madrid coming up in March. So how much do we want to focus on Europa League is kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
And I think you saw some of that in leg 1 by starting Jordi Alba instead of Balde and by starting Alonso instead of Christensen.
Yeah.
Those are 2 pretty big indicators that Xavi's not putting all his eggs in the Europa League basket.
Yeah.
Um,
Good
so
point.
with that said, maybe he puts in Pablo Torre for the experience, but
Okay.
I think because we got to the second leg, having drawn in the first,
Yeah.
and we have an easier weekend match against Almeria, I'm gonna
Okay.
actually kind of backtrack on what I said and say
Hmm.
that maybe we do go with a stronger lineup, which
Yeah.
wouldn't
Maybe.
include Pablo Torre. So
Okay.
if Busquets is injured,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be Pablo. I think it'll be Sergio Roberto, as all the Barca fans right now go boo, and it'll probably be Sergio
Oh.
Roberto who
Okay.
steps in.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. I see that. Um. What are your thoughts about Ansu Fati, by the way? I, for me, like it's an exciting, young talent and whatnot, but he's been dealing with quite a lot of injuries, maybe upon when it comes to his Barcelona tenure and whatnot. So, do you think that there's still like a future there overall, or do you think that maybe at some point they might move away from him, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it is kinda at that point where people are asking that question,
Hmm.
unfortunately. He's still very, very young, right? But he
Of
has
course.
had 3 major injuries now, and the most
Oof.
recent one, he elected to not have surgery, went with a more conservative recovery,
Yeah, I
and
heard
took
that.
months on end to come back. The
Hmm.
physios are saying now that he's physically fit, but
Okay.
we're seeing that he's lost something maybe mentally. There's something that hasn't quite come back with him yet.
Yeah.
The goals are not coming. We can all see that. But even within that, he's struggling to connect with other players, find the chemistry. You'll see a flash of, some tricks and flicks and flair here and
Yeah.
there, but for the most part, we're not seeing the Ansu Fati that we know exists. And so at some point, and that would be different for everybody, you got to say, are we losing value by holding on to him instead of maybe letting one of these other European clubs that have been sniffing around put in a bid for him? Personally, I give Ansu Fati a summer off, relax, clear your mind,
Mm,
come back next season
yeah.
because to me, he's worth another year
Yeah.
of investment to see what he does.
Yeah, like you said, he's still young, so maybe it's not obviously his fault that, he's been dealing with injuries and whatnot, but might be fair to still give him like that one last, moment or season or whatnot. I completely get that.
And this could be a big
Yeah,
opportunity for him. There is a
yeah,
chance that
okay,
Xavi sticks with a 4-3-3, particularly if Busquets is healthy, a
okay.
4-3-3, which would require a left wing, which
Hmm.
in this case, I would hope would be Ansu Fati. You could go
Ah,
Ferran Torres on the left,
yeah,
Rafinha on the right, but Ferran Torres and Rafinha both have struggled on that left wing. So
yeah,
give Ansu Fati that chance, and the
yeah.
payoff could be worth it.
Why, it could for sure. Speaking of Rafinha, I just once you mentioned his name, I was like, oh my god, yes, he is at Barcelona. Why did I completely forget about him for a second? But yeah,
Yeah.
he did look good. The first leg against in this game.
Yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts about him for the second leg? Do you think that he might like score another goal and whatnot? That goal, by the way, was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
he
kinda
he looked
snuck in
really
there.
threatening. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an interesting stat, earlier today that he has, I think, 5 goal contributions in 4 matches against United back to his Leeds days. Has
Yeah.
not ever beaten United, but certainly individually has had his success,
Been a
so
threat for sure.
yeah, certainly a threat. Yeah. So I think he gets the start. I think he'll be threatening. And I think he's got that mentality that I like. He's a big time player. He likes to rise to the occasion. Um,
Yeah.
there were some people that were giving him some criticism for his reaction of being subbed off. It might have been against
So
Manchester United. In fact, I,
it
I
was.
forget
It
which
was.
match it was. It was,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember it was that game.
Yeah, he threw a little bit of a fit, but,
Yeah.
so be it. I like to see that passion. If you have that mentality, you wanna play, and I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, for me too. Like I don't see the problem with kind of, showcase a little bit of passion that okay, I'm right now, I can't hide my emotions. I'm sorry. I'm not a robot. I'm gonna be annoyed that I got
Right.
subbed off because I want to play. And that
Yeah.
just shows more of a commitment to the team and whatnot that you want to play because hey, at the end of the day, that's your job. So I get it. And as long as you don't, this is not me throwing shade because I love this man, but as long as you don't leave the stadium, we good. You know what I'm saying? But hey, once
She
again,
said it, not me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Once again, that's my hero, childhood hero. Okay, I can say this because, but hey,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
all
yeah.
we're all friends over here. Don't shoot the
Yeah,
messenger.
moving on, moving on.
Moving on. Let's read some of the comments here. By the way, guys, keep getting the likes up. We got 12 likes. Let's try to, get them higher. And remember, once again, do subscribe to this channel. And of course, also do show the undefeated mustache John. I can't not stop saying the name. It's a cool name. But yeah, do subscribe to this channel. It is linked in the description box. But yeah, KFC, big up to you. Says 1-0 Barca. Okay,
Ooh, I'll take it. I
okay.
don't I don't know if I'm betting on that, but I'll take it.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. KFC asked Man City watch along. Yeah, I will be doing a Champions League watch along for the Leipzig Man City
Leipzig,
game.
yeah.
Yep, and as well as Inter versus Porto. As Inter Milan is actually my second team. Like I'd be, big fan of them. So yeah,
Okay,
yo,
how are you
yay.
feeling about that tie? Go, against Porto.
I would believe that they can get something out of it. I mean, I believe it is at Inter's ground, so I'm thinking, hey, do something, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so because Man United is obviously, of course, we're not. None of us are in the Champions League, so Inter, please go. Just
Make it
let me
happen.
have something to root for. Like I just can't
Sure.
be hating on Liverpool and City and whatnot. Let me have some joy. You know, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
But
yeah,
hey,
watch for joy, not for hate. I'm with you on that one.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, Harry says a question for both of you. I love to see you do a combined 11 for United and
Ooh,
Barca. If you have enough time, I'd be interested to see. Okay, yeah, we can see if we can have some time for it um, throughout the match preview for sure. That would be cool. Yassine says, Sophia, as Liverpool fan, I admire Rodri from Man City. He's the best midfield in the league. I wish he played for my club. Hey, yeah, yeah, Yassine, y'all gotta fix up the
same,
team for.
same.
Yeah, I mean he's a great player, but I got my DM and I'm okay over here. But I wouldn't say no to Rodri though if we we can
Yeah,
we can
how
get
do,
more. But
what
yeah.
are your thoughts on Donny van de Beek?
Oh my
Is he
God.
forgotten about? Does anybody even speak his name over
To be
there in
honest, John,
Manchester?
brother, nobody speaks of him right now. He's
Ugh,
injured. I've been like, you know, for a long time trying to be like, no, like the way he's been treated by my fellow, Norwegian Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't been the best, of course, and
mhm,
whatnot. But when his former manager Eric Ten Hag doesn't even, really play him that much. Although to Donny's defense, he hasn't really been fully fit, with injuries and whatnot. I get it,
yeah.
but still, there were moments where he was sitting on the bench, could have been brought into the games. He wasn't. So I think this is peak for him. I think I read somewhere maybe a few weeks ago or something like that that he potentially would be one of the many players to leave Man United this for the summer. So I don't think there's a future here anymore. And I feel bad because I feel like he's wasted, a big
Mhm.
chunk of his, like the important years of his career and whatnot. Of course, it's still salvageable and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's not completely done. He's still young enough to turn it around and whatnot. But it's a bummer because once again, he came here back in, if I remember correctly, I think it was 2020.
That sounds
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, 'cause
So
it was after that incredible Ajax team with
yeah,
Frankie De Jong and, De
exactly.
Ligt and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's once again, it's unfortunate, but sometimes football can be cruel. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
very true.
just, I think, move on. But you asked, okay, so you were like an outsider. What are your thoughts about Van de Beek? Because there were many clubs interested in him prior to him coming to Man United. So do you have any maybe thoughts about that?
Yeah, I would throw Barcelona's hat in that ring if Van de Beek comes available. Maybe he comes
Okay.
over to Barcelona, reignites the connection with Frankie De Jong.
Good guy.
Hey, chance to turn things around, and possible maybe we get a good deal because his value has gone down over the last few years. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd definitely be open to giving him a chance.
Okay. Hey, I mean, that'd be great. But you did mention Frankie De Jong. I mean, we
Hands
might
off.
be
You stay
going.
away from Frankie.
Hey, hey. Once again, I'm just bringing the message. But
Yeah.
that's what people
Yeah.
be saying in the grapevine. But hey, you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But would you? I mean, since we are in that what should I say subject of Frankie De Jong,
Yeah.
how important has he been for this Barcelona side, especially under Xavi?
Yeah, he is, completely, and this is gonna sound odd because he's very highly rated, but he's still underrated when it comes to particularly the Barcelona fans because
Okay.
everyone's focused on Pedri, on
Yeah.
Gavi, on Lewandowski, right? And
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
There's good reason for that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you overlook the work being done that supports that creativity in the
Mm,
attack.
mm,
And Frankie De Jong is that. He's been able to, particularly over the last few games, filling in for Busquets in that solo pivot spot,
yep.
really shown that he is that next generation that's going to take over once Busquets decides to hang it up. So
For
I
sure.
really rate Frankie. I think he's
Yeah.
amazing. I think even more I think there's even more to come from Frankie.
I believe so too. I mean, I definitely rate him. Been I did were following along when he was at the Ajax and whatnot. And I do also heavily enjoy watching the Dutch national team and whatnot. So he's a great player. Of course, Ten Hag, former player and whatnot. So I don't know if we're willing to go back for that since that whole whew, that was the whole fiasco with the negotiate. I don't know what that was during the summer
Yeah.
window. You as a fan, like, how were you feeling when everything was going on? Were you kind of like thinking, yeah, yeah, no, no, he's not going, or were you maybe concerned that he might leave? What was your thought?
I I I was so back and forth about it. I bought a Frankie De Jong jersey and then canceled it before it shipped because I was like, "Oh no, I think he's going to United." So I was glad that he stayed.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it was. It was
Mm,
back and forth. And that you may have seen the picture in one of Barcelona's preseason matches where Xavi was speaking on the mic and Frankie De Jong was just staring daggers at him, absolute daggers.
no, I
And
don't
it's
think I've
because at
seen
the
that. Okay.
time,
Yeah.
Frankie De Jong was being either benched or played at center back out of
Yeah,
the
I heard. Yep.
midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not a good look for Barcelona, I'll say, because it
Mm.
it seemed like they were forcing Frankie out when he's always been a fan favorite.
Yeah, definitely
So
is.
it
Does
was
seem
it
to be.
was
Yeah.
not a good look for the club, I'll say. I'm glad they kind of
Not.
moved past that.
Yeah, it does seem like, more of a unity now when you don't really hear much about it. Like sometimes, obviously, as a Man United fan, you be, of course, hearing, transfer rumors and whatnot. But probably
Yeah.
once, we'll dive into, the spring and whatnot, we might hear something, but we'll see. It's going to be
Journalists will
interesting
get their headlines out, of course.
for
Yeah.
sure. Oh, 100%. Jan
Yeah.
says 2-1 Barca force Barca. Okay, vamos. Hey,
Wow.
okay. A lot of Barca love in the chat. Come, where's the United?
Yeah.
Hello. Come, come. Where's the United love? People, come on now. Ben says traveling down from Scotland to Old Trafford tomorrow. Hey, big up. Our form at home has been class. I agree. Barcelona are the best at punishing mistakes. That's how the Spanish play. But if we play our best, we should win. Big up. I love, yeah, the vibe, Ben. Big up to you. I really do hope that we win for you, Ben, for us, and that your time at Old Trafford will be a great one. So big up. Hello, Mama Flossie. She's a Newcastle fan. So, me and Mama Flossie,
Ah.
she's a regular here, also, a mod and whatnot. So, Mama Flossie, big up to you. I love you and whatnot. But on Sunday, we're going to be enemies. You know that when we be meeting each other in the Carabao Cup final. But speaking of that, you said Bruno G will be playing. Interesting. Okay. But your goalkeeper won't. But hey, that's another story.
Yikes.
Shade, but not shade.
Yikes.
United Real Therapy. Hello, Nuradin says, is the Europa League important to Barca fans? Okay, good
Um,
question.
that is a great question. So, in order of significance, right now it's La Liga, just
Yep,
because Real Madrid have won it the last few seasons, so we got to get that back.
I get that.
Then it's really either the Copa del Rey or
Yep.
Supercopa. One of
Okay.
those two is
Yeah.
second. And then I would say third, if not fourth, is Europa League. Because it is a missing trophy from Barcelona's cabinet. We've never
Yeah.
won the tournament.
No, I get that.
Um, but it's also like,
It's kind of like, meh.
eh, yeah, it's kind
No, I
of
see
meh,
that.
you know?
Yeah, it's like, the best way to say it's meh. No,
Yeah,
I
I
see
think
that.
if for from the conversations that I've had with folks, the opinion
Yeah.
seems to be let's get past United just so that
Okay.
we can say that, because here's the thing, if Barcelona lose this second leg and we're
Mm-hmm.
out, then the headlines immediately are Barcelona are great domestically, but still can't win in Europe, blah, 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 blah. If we can at
Okay.
least get past United, who are very much in form,
For
then we
sure.
can kind of have an argument against that with whoever
Mm-hmm.
we play next. Even if we get knocked out,
Yep.
we can say, well, at least we got past United. We got over that hurdle. Champions League next season is what we're focused on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair for sure. Ravi has a question for us both. Where in your teams do you think you are most effective and weakest? You can go
Ooh.
first, John.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Most effective, I'm gonna say, well, okay, same answer for both right now because we are most effective through the midfield, but because of our injuries and suspensions,
Yep.
that's where we're going to be weakest right now. The strongest midfield three we could possibly have is Frankie De Jong, Franck Kessié, and Busquets if he's back from injury, and that's so he's not going to be 100%. Uh, while I like that on the defensive side of the ball, and I like that for possession's sake, not a lot of creativity and attack there. So I'm going to say that usually our midfield is the strength, but for
Yeah.
this match, it might end up being our weakness.
Ah. No, I completely see that. I mean, that's a very good point there. For me, I'm almost thinking like, hmm. I wish I could say like the effective could be in a way the attack and whatnot. But no, I feel like we're a little bit bad at not that I would say that we would be able to kill off this game and whatnot, but I just feel like often like you've been saying when it comes to that final third, that's something that we need to tweak and work
Yeah.
on. Of course, yes, Rashford is on form and whatnot, but there are also a lot of chances that we do create in certain games and whatnot, but we're just not clinical enough. So for me, that's why I kind of want to say that's the weakest. And in a way, maybe the effective or the strongest, in a way, per se, would be our defense. I feel like our
Mm.
defense is very solid. Um, and that's kind of what has been giving us a lot of points over this entire season, and kind of been carrying us throughout certain games and whatnot, because that's kind of the backbone. If you have a weak defense, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah,
Just kind of
right.
like,
Yeah.
once again, shots gonna be fired for Liverpool. That's what they felt yesterday, and it is what it
Wow.
is. So
Rough
y-
match for Liverpool.
very rough, but hey, as a United fan, it was kind of nice for me to watch. But hey, we move. But yeah, that's. the answer to your question, Ravi. Harry says, for Barcelona fans, it's important to win as many games as we can. I'd love to see us win it, but the league is the most important for us right now. With the 8 point lead, we need to hold on to it. I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
as you have like maybe Real Madrid creeping a little bit there in the background, but of course, as you did mention, you haven't won it in a while, so it would make sense for Barcelona fans and maybe for the manager and just the team in general to do, of course, try to prioritize the league as much as possible. Hopefully, maybe try to get some other trophies alongside it and whatnot. But I get it. It's sometimes you gotta be hey, you gotta prioritize, and I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big up, big up. Harry says another question for both of you. Who are your favorite players from each other's clubs? Great question.
Ooh, yeah, that is a
Okay.
good question.
Hmm.
For me, I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford, actually. I was kinda like before his, uh what, comeback, if you wanna call it that, his reemergence, I was kinda hoping that he might sneak his way onto the transfer market at some point and Barcelona could take a look at him. I know it's hard to get a English superstar out of England. I
Yeah,
know that's
yeah.
very tough.
Mhm.
But, eh, the way he's playing right now, I mean, I think you could put him on just about any club and he'd have some success. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rashford, I'm a fan of,
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, I'm a fan of.
Eh, yeah.
Those would probably be my top 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, no, great picks for sure. Okay, for me, when it comes to Barcelona, who am I like? Who's like my favorite players? I mean, I've always, I've rated Lewandowski for a long time, whatnot. Um, right now, like I said, I mean, I didn't mention like Araujo. I'm gonna try to
Mhm.
work on that, but him,
Yeah.
that's the player that I like. Once again, for Uruguay and whatnot, and stuff like that. Of course, Frankie De Jong, also a player that I really do rate.
Or yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and also I've kind of I don't know. I feel like not a lot of people be rating goalkeepers, but Ter Stegen, I like him.
Having a great season, really having
I like him.
a career season for Ter
Hey,
Stegen. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm a person that really the viewers know. Like I love David De Gea. Like I definitely you know often games, different games and whatnot. I be checking goalkeepers out. I appreciate the game, and Ter Stegen is one of the great when it comes to being a goalkeeper. Simply that. So big up to
Yeah.
him. Gary says, I fancy United to go through. We will score at least one, as we always score in games at the moment, and our form at Old Trafford is fantastic. Hey, okay. Now I see that, Gary. Big up. Gary also says, if the sale does go through, you will see at least 10 leave and be replaced. Donovan de Beek won't be at Old Trafford in 2 years' time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going through, a potential sale right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's
Um,
big news.
Very big news indeed. But there's also been some like reports that maybe Glazers would be staying if that happens. Ooh, wow. Let's just say it's not going to be pretty. It's not
Yeah,
going to be
yeah, I
pretty.
can imagine.
Harry says, I didn't want Frankie to leave as a Barcelona fan. I defended him and I wanted him to stay, and he's performing really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play tomorrow. Okay. Some love to Frankie de Jong. Gary says Anthony and Maguire back in the team. Fit Martial training is also yes, 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 yes. Um, yeah, to those of you who aren't aware, very good by the way, Gary, that you mentioned that. I don't think I did, but yeah, Maguire is back and Anthony is also available. The Brazilian Anthony, but not the French one. The French one is bless his heart, but still dealing with injuries and whatnot. But he's like Gary said right here is did have an individual training by himself and whatnot, but he won't be available for tomorrow's game. So I would probably see Wood Vekhorst be up front potentially. I don't know exactly how we would set up, but when it comes to if we talk a little bit about the lineup though, I
Mhm.
would maybe think, of course, De Gea will have, I'm going to say, Wan-Bissaka, actually, as the right back, which I would have never said if you would have, asked me, do you think Wan-Bissaka will, play a part this season? No, but he has ever
Really?
since.
You had him
Yep,
totally written off?
I'm going to be honest. Yep. Bless his heart. But yes, yes, I was like, you know what? He can't, you know, put it in the past to save his life. But right now, I don't know what Ten Hag has done, but something has been done for him to just really up his level. I still do think that he's, I've said this before to the viewers. I have said that, at some point he probably should be moved on, but right now he is doing a
Mhm.
job. So I think that will probably be somebody that we, just because he's so good when it comes to like 1v1 and whatnot, and he has been better with moving up and progressing the ball forward and whatnot. So I do
Yeah,
think that can be an asset. Luke Shaw, of course, as a left back, Roberto Carlos, yes, 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 yes. Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane. We literally have a World Cup winning center back partnership. Like, hey,
that's true.
that's,
That's
you know,
true.
midfield, Casemiro. Somebody was saying maybe we should still keep Fred, but Sabitzer could be used as well. But the thing is with Sabitzer is that, him and Casemiro haven't ever played together yet, since both of them have kind of been, not
Yeah.
available and whatnot. But I do wonder if Ten Hag will potentially go with them, and then up front, I'm thinking probably. Obviously, we'll have Bruno as the attacking mid and whatnot. Woodwakers up front. I'm going to say maybe if Anthony, maybe Anthony as the right winger, and then Rashford as the left winger. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What do you think about that? If that potentially could be the lineup, I don't know,
Yeah, no,
or the
I,
starting 11.
I'm with you on that. So you're leaving out who? Sancho then?
Yes, I'm leaving out Sancho, but he'll come in.
Okay, okay, all
If we
right.
needed to, he'll come in.
Yeah, you
But
got him in
maybe,
the back pocket.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because he did play a little bit of. I remember the Leicester game. We won 3-0, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
came in the second half and actually played as a number 10. So that is something that we can do, and then
Okay.
just move Bruno to the right. Although me personally, I like Bruno more so in the middle, but he did still score, basically have 2 assists as a right winger. So I can't complain much, but there's option. And of course, as well, Woodbeckers, haven't been scoring much. I think he scored 1 goal in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, I believe.
Yeah.
But as I almost feel like maybe the Carabao Cup final, he might be a cup winner, a cup goal winner. You never know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's something. But yeah, um, do you think that my thought, maybe, I mean, question would be more so, what are your thoughts of Wood Weghorst's performance in that first leg, as he isn't, maybe the most
Yeah,
participated?
he's one that you just kinda have to keep an eye out for because
Yep,
he's not really the biggest name.
yep.
It reminds me a little bit of Barcelona bringing Luke de Jong in
Oh,
last
I remember
season.
him.
It reminds me a
Yeah.
little bit of that. Now here's the thing, Luke de Jong ended up being a club legend by the end of the season. He showed up in enough big moments,
Okay.
with enough frequency
Hmm.
that he was known as Luke de Goat by the time that
Mm,
he left, and the
mm.
Camp Now was singing his name. So I
Wow.
I I know, I know. So, Vegas could have a
Yeah.
similar reaction. He's just gotta
Okay.
show up in big moments, and that's what makes me nervous because this is one of those matches that is one of those big moments. Like, if he were to sneak in a goal in a match like this, that carries him, for a couple of months in the eyes of the fans, So, he makes me nervous, I'll say.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, even though, like you're saying, he doesn't, okay, as a striker and whatnot, he doesn't maybe score lots of goals and whatnot. He's had chances. It was that one big chance in that first leg. I remember. I was like, oh my God, why don't
Yeah,
you know? That
Ter
kind of
Stegen,
made me a
though.
little bit frustrated. But at the end of the day, like his work ethic is definitely something that you kind of have to commend and whatnot. He definitely gives 100%. His pressing is pretty impressive in my opinion and whatnot. So it's more so how to utilize his skills and whatnot. Then he still is an asset right now for me. The availability is the best ability. As of course, if Martial was fit, we would have instead used him and then have Weghorst come in here and there. But since that's not the case, then you have to, of course, rely on Weghorst. And at the end of the day, he's doing a job, maybe not exactly the job that you want him to do, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. So I do think that he probably will. He'll do something for tomorrow. I do think that. Big up to you, Tato. Big up, big up. We will read the rest of your in the rest of your comments very shortly. But for the last few minutes of the show, let's since this was asked, maybe we should try to do a combined 11.
Let's do it. Let's see what we
Let's
can
do
come
it.
up with.
Yeah. Would you be? Should we do a 4-3-3? Maybe.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Okay. Let me share the screen here. There we go, and just remove the overlays here. There
Oh,
we go.
nice.
Okay. Hey.
All right.
Okay. So when it comes to who the goalkeeper, and do chime in, people, if you maybe have other opinions or whatnot. But yeah, goalkeeper. Are you gonna rep your boy Ter Stegen, or am I gonna rep my boy De Gea? What are we gonna
I
do here?
I'm gonna have to put in a word for Ter Stegen, of course. I believe he
Okay.
just set the La Liga record for most clean sheets in the first 22 matches. He's
Wow.
got, I think it's 17 so far.
Okay.
Dominant performance, and this is after a couple years of kind of falling out of
Yep.
form.
Mm-hmm.
But he was playing behind a questionable Barcelona back line.
I
So
get that.
now that we kind of sorted things out,
Mm-hmm.
he's also fallen followed that suit, and so I'm gonna put in a word for Ter Stegen there.
Okay. That's, I mean, hey, very fair. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't seen like, many Barcelona games, more so, in the Champions League and whatnot. And of course, the Europa League games as we're playing each other. But he is a good goalkeeper. Like I said, I do rate him. I mean, I love my guy, De Gea, as well. But as you're saying, if we're taking into account this season in particular, and you're saying that this is a season where you know, he's really in his element, then maybe we kind of do need to put Ter Stegen. But people, don't shoot me. Hey, I still love the hair, but I'm gonna try to do a compromise. So we'll put Ter Stegen in as the goalkeeper.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll do that. Ter Stegen. There he is. Okay. So as the left center back.
So Barcelona's would be Christensen, and you would
Okay.
have who? Martinez?
Yep.
Oh, very different players.
Yep.
Very different players.
Hmm.
What are your feelings on Martinez?
Oh, he's been a revelation. This 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 guy. There's been mad pundits, in the Premier League and whatnot, that said, because of his height, that he would never, work and whatnot. He wouldn't be successful. But he's been incredible, been extremely important. So for me, I would love to put him in, but no, not depends. I would rep him 100%,
Okay,
because
okay.
he's been incredible. But what about Christensen?
So
Has Christensen been playing a lot of games has he, for
not
Barcelona?
at not at first.
Okay,
We started the season more Araujo and Eric Garcia,
okay,
but over the last, I'll say, 2 months,
yep,
Christensen has really won that starting spot. So much so that people are now saying, "Is he as good as Araujo?" He brings that level of passing and distribution that you don't typically see with center backs. But
okay.
thinking ahead to the full combined 11, and this is going to be a combined 11, I think Martinez might be the right decision here because he's going to give us that grit on that side, that kind of bulldog attitude, which I do appreciate.
That's a very good point. Yeah, and I completely second that for sure myself. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna just put Lisandro Martinez up here. Yep. Okay, as the right center back for me, I mean Rafael Varane has been incredible. Also, I feel like in a lot of ways, like Rafael Varane is so good. He's so good that you don't almost notice him in a way. Like he's just, I just do my job and that's it.
Mhm.
I might not be the most vocal person, whatnot, but I get the job done, and that's it. Like in a way, with this partnership in particular, like I feel like Lisandro Martinez reminds me a lot about Nemanja Vidic, and then I feel like Rafael Varane is more so like Rio in a way, but just
Mm,
like being Martinez is kind of like the more uglier in terms of how he plays, but but in
yeah.
the best way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
just gets into the ugly tackles and whatnot. But with Rafael Varane, he's more sophisticated and clean, but it's not a bad thing. But
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't it doesn't get that much praise as he should be getting. He's
Yeah.
often being kind of like in Sergio, Ramos kind of shadow, where the people been saying like Ramos has been like carrying him, but no, no, no. He's
Yeah.
There's a reason why they also won the Champions League back to back. He got four Champions League trophy medals and whatnot. That's not just being Ramos' sidekick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what
Yeah.
you are thinking.
No, I mean, I agree with everything that you said there. There's an argument to be made that um, that Varane is actually France's most successful center back of all time.
Okay,
You could make that argument.
for sure.
And so full respect to Varane. And again, I agree with everything that you said, but I gotta go Araujo on this one. I mean,
I get that.
he's a difference maker. He is
Yeah,
while again, I appreciate Varane's style of play. I
yeah,
think you said it. It's a little bit passive, but it brings in that the beauty of defending at
yeah,
times, right?
for sure.
Araujo has this more rock and roll sort of style to him where he can
Yeah.
come in and be disruptive and have the
Mm-hmm.
pace to keep up with some of these fast forwards that you see. So I gotta lean for Araujo on this one.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Here's it's tough. I love Varane and Araujo, but I'd say Araujo by a whisker. Okay,
Just the
and that's
mustache whisker,
yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And I think that's fair. I get that. Okay, we'll say that for sure. Okay. I said Ronaldo. There he is. Araujo.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Yes. What about the right back?
So we talked about Kunde and having some struggles here and there,
Yep.
right? And it sounds like you are hot on Wan-Bissaka right now. I'm gonna throw you a curveball, and I'm gonna put in a word for Dallo.
Okay.
I like him going forward. I think
Yeah,
he's got a
yeah,
good physical presence. I
yeah.
think he's got a cannon of a right foot and
Yep.
pretty good service from that right wing. And
Yep.
to be honest, another player that I'm kinda hoping Barcelona take a look at in the summer.
Wow.
I heard some words that maybe contract negotiations have stalled a bit. So
We're
I'm putting
working
in
on
a
it.
word for Dallo.
Okay. No, yeah, for me, like even though I've been saying like Wan-Bissaka has been very good since the World Cup, Dallo up until, because of the World Cup and whatnot, he was playing for Portugal. He did get injured, so he hasn't played that many games since the World Cup, but up until the World Cup, he definitely was one of our most, consistent players and probably one of our most improved players. If we kind of overlook, Rashford and Luke Shaw, um, when it comes to this season under Ten Hag. He's been very good. So yeah, I think that's definitely a fair shout indeed, and I agree. Dallo as a right
Nice,
back, but the left
nice.
back.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this one? Because even at Barcelona, we're kinda split on who we would go with our own players.
Ah, okay. I mean, for me, left. I mean, it's Luke Shaw all day. Luke Shaw has been incredible under Ten Hag. Not just a left back, obviously, as we talked about throughout the stream, but as a center back and whatnot as well. But mostly, he's played obviously as a left back, and he's done an incredible job. It was just the two games at the beginning of the season where Bearman was arguably horrible, but and then he kind of was sidelined, and we had Malasia, the Dutch youngster coming in and doing a job. But then Luke Shaw got an opportunity, and he kind of has never looked back ever since. So for me, I would put in a shout here for Luke Shaw as the left back, since he's just been so good in my opinion.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Barcelona kinda have, a split here because we've got
Okay.
Jordi Alba, the crafty veteran, He was
Mhm.
kinda in the twilight of his career, and then we've
Yep.
got Alejandro Balde, who is very much up and coming and starting to step into those shoes that Jordi
Yep.
Alba had been filling, so I I know, and I see Harry wants to go Balde. I'm gonna say
So,
because we have one player who is maybe a little bit inexperienced and one who is a little bit maybe too experienced,
yep.
I'm okay with going with Shaw at left back as well.
Okay. The compromises we're doing today, John. Come on now. Hey.
I try to be practical with these, I
No,
try.
and I respect it for sure. Ravi says Malaysia has shown his worth. Oh yeah, of course. But there's he's very impressive, young prospect indeed, and I think that he can go far for sure. Harrison Shaw is good for me as well. Hey, okay, we're all agree.
Okay,
Look,
right, yeah,
love the
Harry gets
vibes
it.
today. Yes, good job, people. Okay, CDM. I mean, ah,
Well, here's my question. Are we just going with players that are gonna be available for this second leg?
ooh. No, I'm thinking. I'm going to be fair and also say for me it doesn't matter. I'm thinking. Let's say if they were available,
Okay, so full
it's
full
okay.
full squad, full
Full
squad.
squad. Let's
Okay,
go.
alright.
But we're taking the season into account, of course.
Yes, yes, we're taking this season into account. Okay, so we're looking at Casemiro for you,
Yep.
and for us, we got some options. I could say Boosie, but I'm gonna put in a word for Frankie De Jong instead because I think Busquets for
Really?
this combined 11
Yep.
would get beat out by Casemiro,
Yep.
but Frankie De Jong, I don't know. That's maybe who I'd go with for this one.
Okay. What if we say it's just me throwing out
We
something
might
here?
have to talk out, like, the whole midfield, but go on, go
Yeah,
on.
because I was thinking that. I was thinking, okay, let's say we, for instance, do like, okay, as that, that holding midfielder, that CDM. We're thinking, this is just me saying maybe having Casemiro, and then maybe one of the ones up a little bit more up front here, we'll say Frankie De Jong can be can be somebody up here.
Okay. Who would be your 3rd if we're going Casemiro and Frankie, who's your 3rd
I
there?
would maybe say Bruno, potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. I could. But it depends on what you're thinking. If you have other, I mean, because I'm Pedri.
So, yeah, I was gonna my thoughts going into it were maybe Frankie in the pivot, Pedri, and Bruno, because I think that gives us it's heavy on the attacking side, and that's where maybe I could
Ooh,
see your point about Casemiro.
okay.
That's where I'm a little
Interesting.
bit torn. So I think are we in agreement that maybe we're looking at Pedri and Bruno as the 2 CMs potentially? I know well, you were saying that maybe Casemiro, Frankie, and Bruno, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I just can't leave out Casemiro. But I could
Okay,
not.
okay.
I could make an exception for not that. I mean, Bruno is important for a team as well. But I could make a compromise. I can
Yeah,
make a compromise. But I just in terms of like, because we've been missing, that CDM for the longest time,
sure,
and Casemiro
sure.
has really been like he's been incredible for this team and a very integral part of the way we play. When
Okay.
we like the Leicester game when we haven't had him for 3 games straight. So
Yeah,
it shows. So
okay.
I'll say
So how do you feel about then going Casemiro, Frankie, Pedri?
I'll be open for that for sure.
We're good with that? I feel like that's a
Yeah.
pretty balanced midfield because we have
Yes.
Casemiro more defensive, Frankie box to box, and then Pedri more on the attack.
Yep. I
Okay.
think that seems pretty fair to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. That seems like a. I mean, imagine that midfield going at you. Oh, it's a
Right,
long day.
right, yeah.
Long day.
Yeah, an embarrassment of riches for sure.
Definitely. Okay, so what about the left winger? I mean, I have one, and you know that's Rashford.
It's Rashford. I'm not even gonna if this was, a different point
Yep.
sometime last year, maybe I'm telling you it's Ansu Fati, but Now that's Rashford all day. I don't even have an argument against it. It's got to be him.
I completely agree. Now, for me, when it comes to the right wing, it's been we haven't really solidified that yet. So
Mm,
I'm really open either way because it's been like Anthony for a while, but he's also been kind of a little bit injury prone here and there or not available that much since the World Cup. And also, there's he kind of maybe in a way divides the fan base a little bit. Like there's people that's kind of written him off already, even
yeah,
though he's actually been pretty decent. But you know, it's just it hasn't been pretty that right wing, such as the left wing with Rashford, who has been incredibly, of course, in form and whatnot, been very good, and also Alejandro Garnacho, kind of also a shout there. But the
yeah.
right wing, nah. So I don't know who would you have? Would that be is Rafinha also on that right wing? I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
so
yeah,
that's where Barcelona got you covered because we've got
yeah,
Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and
yep,
Dembele who all prefer the right wing. All three
yes,
can play both sides, but are
yeah,
clearly more productive from the right wing. So I could go Rafinha. If you went off of latest performance, I'd say Ferran Torres, but
okay,
ultimately, even though he's injured,
yep,
it's gonna be Dembele. Dembele is the one that
okay,
you'd choose for that right wing because he can go left or right. His
yeah,
pace, his ability to
he's so good.
stop and restart is he's
Yeah,
very dangerous, very dangerous.
yeah, because I feel like up until he got injured, like he has been very good this season, hasn't he?
Most assists in La Liga, I believe.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. I've kind of felt sorry for him for a while because he's been so injury prone during throughout his career overall,
Yeah.
also for the France national team and whatnot. But you know when he's fit, he's a force to be reckoned with, and
True.
you got to give it to him
True.
for sure. And I mean, striker, do we even need to discuss there? I
Lewandowski, right?
Ye yeah, no, no, no. I agree. I agree. There's we can't compete. Come on. Who? Woodvegors, Marcel. Sorry, no. It's
Right.
Lewandowski. Now I
Yes,
can say
indeed. Yes,
Lewandowski.
indeed. Yeah.
But
Look at that team, though.
yes, I mean, okay, so guys, as y'all seeing, this is the combined 11 for me and John. For Man United and Barcelona, we have Ter Stegen in goal. We have Dallo as the right back, Luke Shaw as a center. I mean, not center back, left back. We have Lisandro Martinez as the left center back. We have Arujo as the right center back. Okay, that center back partnership is looking saucy. I mean, the overall back here, whoo, and the midfield consisting of Casemiro as the DM, Pedri and the Young. Come on now, wow. And then you have the right winger. We have Usman Dembele. You have Marcus Rashford as the left winger, and up front you have not Lewandowski but Lewandowski up
There it
front.
is.
Wow! I mean, if this was either one of our actual team squads,
Right,
ooh,
yeah.
it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Just bring me the league and Champions League right now. Give me
Yep,
all of it.
treble on the way, yeah.
Yes, incredible. Yeah, big up. Um, let's read some of the comments before we end the stream.
Absolutely.
Yes, big up to you, Huddersfield, Fan TV. Harry said I'd pick Rafinha due to the fact that he's a goal scoring winger, but Dembele is also good due to his amazing dribbling. For sure. I
Yeah,
see
good
that.
point. Yeah.
Huddersfield Town Fan TV says, can I ask your guest, this is John, by the way, he says, on how good Xavi has been at Barcelona. Yeah, we can end up with that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, I'll
go
just
ahead.
kinda touch on that quickly. He's been the total turnaround. He's
Yep.
brought in a breath of fresh air. He's clearly made training more fun, for the players. He's really brought in that chemistry and that unity to the clubhouse, but he's also set order. I think for the better part of a decade, the players were really running the club. And so you needed somebody that had that status and that presence like Xavi to come in and really be the leader and set the tone for the locker room and have those expectations. So it's been all positive things from Xavi.
Okay, very good. Okay, do you think that you guys are going to be winning La Liga with Xavi this season? You think
I
that's
do. I
a big?
do. 8-point lead currently. We do
Yeah.
have a head-to-head tie against Real Madrid coming up here in March. So
Yes, El
if we
Clasico.
slip up, it's not over,
Mm-hmm.
but if we get 3 points against Madrid, I think it's all but in the bag. I don't see us
Okay.
slipping up elsewhere in La Liga. So I'm feeling confident about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And lastly, what is your prediction for tomorrow? Score prediction as well for tomorrow's second leg. And let's, this is a safe space, John. Go ahead. You know.
So, I am gonna stick with my prediction that I had earlier,
Yeah.
on my live stream. I'm gonna say 2-1 to Barcelona.
Mm,
Yep, with goals from Lewandowski and who else did I say? I think I said Rafinha. I
okay.
could be wrong. I definitely said Lewandowski. I think I said Rafinha. Someone's gonna have to go
Okay.
back and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm gonna stick with a 2-1 win
Okay.
for the Blaugrana.
Hey, I'm actually also thinking a 2-1 win, but for these guys over here.
Right, right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Often I do be going with 2-1 and whatnot. Sometimes that be correct, and sometimes I'd be off. But hopefully, I'm going to be manifesting it. I'm going to be putting it out there to the universe that we do indeed win tomorrow. In terms of the goals, I mean, who? I mean, Rashford, brother will score again. Check. Um,
Probably,
yeah.
probably.
Will it be another own goal? Nah, I don't think that will be the case. We gonna say, I'm gonna say maybe Bruno will score the second goal. Yeah, I'm
Mm,
gonna say Bruno. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that's basically the score prediction. Harry said John.
Nice.
I did say Leva and Rafinha. Okay.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Harry.
Hey. And Harry also said I'd say 2-1 Barcelona. What I said on John's channel, a Rafinha goal and a late stunner. Hey, big up for sure. That I mean, hopefully we'll win. But hey, it's fine. But yeah, guys, that is the end of this live match preview. Thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time of your day to watch this pretty fun match preview with my special guest John from the Undefeated Mustache John. Make sure that you do subscribe to his channel. He's doing great things. Barcelona fan, with match previews, watch alongs, match reaction. Like he does everything. He does it all. So do show him some love. Remember to, of course, give this video a big thumbs up. And John, where can the people find you other than the YouTube channel? Is there other places they can find you? Go ahead.
Yeah, all the major social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. If you search the undefeated mustache John, you'll find me. And yeah, YouTube is where the main content is, of course. Like you said, I do live news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So come hang out, and all the Barcelona matches as well. We do the live stream, so come hang
Okay.
out.
Big up. Okay, guys, I will be back in about an hour and a half or so for the Champions League watch along. Hopefully, City will get smashed, Inter will win. Let's just keep having a good week. This is an important week for Man United, as we're playing Barcelona second leg tomorrow, and of course the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. It'll be nice to see my team lift a trophy after 6 years. But hey,
Yeah.
big up. But yeah, people, we will see you again soon. Once again, do hit the like button if you haven't already, and we are out. Peace out.